Uh, Good evening, everyone.
Good
Uh, yeah,
evening,
uh,
sir.
yeah, we are going to start this webinar. Uh, After a pause, we have been doing the webinars regularly, but now, every month we have planned to have one webinar. And to start with today, we have this webinar, which I'm going to shortly introduce the speaker. Before that, I'm sure there are, few in the audience who are new to NCQM, and therefore I would give a 1 minute introduction of National Center for Quality Management. It's a premier institution for quality in the country, established in. May I request the audience to please be on mute, please? The audience, please be on mute. Thank you. The institute was established in 1985 by a group of eminent industrialists and professionals. It's a registered trust under Bombay Public Trust Act 1950, and it's a non-profit organization supported by industry. These are the founders of the institute. Late Sri Ramakrishna Bajaj was the founder president, and there are others you can see on the screen. Uh, the organization is supported by various category of members called patron members, corporate members, institutional life members, individual members, and student members. Various benefits are there subscribing to NCQ membership, starting with getting a network of professionals, a light quality fraternity, discount in various NCQM services, free seminars and lectures, quarterly newsletter, and use of knowledge center. These are various activities, that is member services, seminars and conferences, training, consulting, awards, quality awards, publications, and education. We have centers at Ajmer, Coimbatore, Noida, Pune, and Nasik. This is a short introduction. For detailed information, please visit the NCQM website. And without wasting much time, I am just going to introduce the speaker for today, Mr. Gopal Sehjpal, the leadership and team coach mentor. I have just projected his profile on the screen. Uh, he is an internationally known trainer, consultant, and coach. Gopal Sehjpal is known for his thorough professionalism, humility, and discipline while discharging his responsibilities. People who have interacted with him personally or professionally generally speak high about him. Even during his corporate management life, mainly with Kodak in India, he was always praised as a great asset to the organization. His contribution to the various company boards is still talked about. Current professional roles, coaching and mentoring. You can see C-suite leaders coaching, coaching and mentoring for division heads, senior managers, team coaching, mentoring. Assessments, global leader of future, GLOF 360 assessments, Marshall Goldsmith, find your major motivation assessments, Horizon assessment solutions, corporate trainings in all these areas, especially leadership at the senior level, and various others, which you can see. On the left side, you can see his various achievements and accolades, education. He has been a management consultant, and he has done management consulting in organization design and development, HR modules, manpower planning, recruitment, performance management, succession planning, design and achievements, performance management, including balance scorecard, social and cultural relationship assignments, diversity, and inclusivity. So we have a great speaker today with us, and I am sure all of us are going to benefit. Before I hand over the stage, so to call to Mr. Sehjpal, I at the beginning I wish to thank all the participants who are registered and have joined for the program. I was impressed with the profile of the participants. They are please be on the mute, participants. May I request you to be on mute, all of you? Yeah. So the participant profile is CEOs, CMD, directors, vice president, general managers, senior consultants, department heads, and so on. So we have a very good audience, Gopal sir, and with this I hand over the stage to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Santosh Kadagade sir. I'm really obliged and grateful that you have given me the opportunity to interact with such high-profile professionals in the field of business, technology, as well as industry, uh, heads. I can see some familiar names also on the screen. My suggestion would be, sir, ladies and gentlemen, please keep your picture on, video on, so that I can see you because I really don't like speaking to the walls.
Yeah.
So I love to see you, but only thing suggestion as sir has mentioned, keep your the mic off so that whenever you have to speak or interact with me or ask a question or you make a comment, that time you can open it and come forward. But meanwhile, keep your mic off, but video on, please. That is a request from my side. Thank you very much for obliging. Allow me to open my slide deck so that I can, with the help of uh, the slides, we can take the journey forward for this wonderful program. The name has been given is Paradigms, Paradoxes, and Practices for Leadership Growth. Both these words are important, leadership as well as growth. And I'm going to explain how does that really matter to us as professionals. What is leadership and what is growth? That is what I'll be elaborating and leading towards how we can really work with these for our forward journey, next journey towards growth and development for ourselves as well as our teams and organizations. First of all, I like to know from you if you could, use the chat box, so that it becomes a little more interactive. Coming out of mute may be little difficult and time consuming because we have about 1 hour only to finish this whole program. So if you could write down your name and location and also what is the purpose of your joining the program, right? Use that chat window, please. Just very short, but crisply and quickly. Your name, your location, and also what is the purpose of this program. Use the chat window, please.
Gopal sir,
Yes, sir.
may I share the
Okay, sir.
Excel sheet where
So that's okay. I
the
just want to get a purpose and
yeah.
then seek their participation also.
Okay, okay.
To get used to the chat window.
Right. Yeah. So I request
Yeah.
all the participants to please enter the
Not so much
details,
of a
which
gathering
yeah,
information
yeah,
that I know you will have.
yeah, yeah,
Idea is that they participate, they use the
yeah,
window so
yeah.
that whenever I ask a question, they know where to answer that.
Right.
Okay, familiarizing with the chat window.
Right.
Very good,
Fine,
sir.
fine.
Well, we have heard from Dhiran Shah, Chandrasekhar Iyer, Sardar Singh, Sardeep Singh, Vasant Gadadara, Shashank Birbadkar, Jawaharlal Chaudhary, Nand Kishore Wake, Jayesh Rane, A.R. Nikhil, Umesh. Okay, thank you very much. But just write one word. What is the purpose of the joining this program today, but this webinar? Understand modern internal leadership practices. Wonderful. Thank you, God Saab, Garud Saab. How to achieve excellence. Thank you, Nandkishore. Just one word, sir, not much. Development of leadership, tips for aligning business to processes. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Learning curve, gap analysis, current situation, leadership role, trait of great leaders, leadership role. Well, thank you very much. Gives me fairly good idea that, I just wanted to have the comfort that whatever I have prepared is going to make some sense to you, sir. Thank you so much for this participation. Let me give you the background why I thought this subject is very necessary. This is my perspective. And you are all familiar that ISO 9000 very categorically says there are 8 quality management principles. And out of those, 2 are involved with the leadership and development of people. Number 2, which is leadership itself, and third one, which is involvement of people, and the sixth one, which is continual improvement. All these 3 go together to make our program worthwhile, and the learning will be uh, wonderful. Okay, so what is the context in which we are learning today? See, as we call, this has become a buzzword now in the management and leadership circle that we are in the VUCA era. And VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. We look around, whether it was pandemic, the wars, all over the world, you can really know that we don't know when something erupts where, and it becomes a very complex situation. And you come across various people who would not really tell you very clearly what exactly they are looking for, even in your teams and in your organizations. And that makes the leadership role as very difficult one. So in this context, it is very relevant that we understand the nuances of the leadership development program as such. This is my favorite model. I call it iceberg model. It's popularly known as iceberg model. And quickly explaining it, so we are recognized whether we are as a team member or we are leader, we are recognized by the result that we produce. People know us by result. Nor I, not much about how I look and how I talk, and that is okay. But what exactly I have given back to the society or to the organization or for my role for which I have been receiving my salary and benefits and all, what have I really achieved? What have I given back to the organization? That is the result. People will know by that. As leaders, you also look for that from your team members. And results are produced by our actions and behaviors. This is on the tip of the iceberg, the sort of bottom of the iceberg, visible part, because certain actions are visible to people, certain actions are not visible to people. There are cultures now in the organization where people work from home. What they do at home, people may not be seeing, but they can see the result. And some of the behaviors, I may be very good in front of you, but when you turn your back, or I am somewhere in some other group, I may be talking very different language about you or for you. So my actions and behavior are sometimes visible, sometimes not visible. These action and behaviors are nothing but the results of how I feel at times. How I feel, that is the way I behave and act. And my feelings are largely dependent on my thought process. Okay. So if I take the reverse side, my thoughts, whatever is happening in my brain right now, the thoughts is resulting in some kind of uh, aspirations in my chest, my feelings. And those feelings are giving rise to some action and behavior that I may be doing. And that results in the what is visible to the outside world. So this model we have to always keep in mind whenever we are changing or we are thinking of changing anything in the world, because that thing is called result. You want to You are not happy with your ROI. You are not happy with your profitability. You are not happy with the current wastage rate, for example. And that is the result you have got, the current result. You want to change it. So what do? Our recommendation as leaders is not change you can change the action and behavior. That will be very, very minimal. Minimal change will take place in the results, but it won't be very, very drastic. You want to really have great result, then start from here. Change your thought process, which your paradigm. Paradigm, I will explain to you a little later. Paradigm is the way you think, the angle of perception you have. The way you think, if you change that thinking, you start having different kind of thoughts and different feeling, different actions and behavior, and different results. So our suggestion always is that you want to change the result, come back to the thought process. When you were producing those results, what were your thoughts? If you change your thoughts, you will be able to change your results also. So this model, I always encourage leaders to keep it in their mind. It should be, it should be your kind of prayer in the morning every day. You review it every day and see how does it make an effect. So with this, I'll move on to the subject, which is leadership development. First of all, let us understand what is leadership. And before I go to my slide, I like you to once again use the chat window and see in one word what is leadership for you. Just don't write more than one word. If you were to tell your younger brother or a son or a daughter, and they say, what is leadership? What will you tell in one word? Just write it down in the chat window, please. Responsibility, guide people. Very good. Some more responses, please. Management, okay. Controlling, ownership of failure, lead from front, okay. To emulate, driving visions and goals, showing a path. Wow. Teamwork, decision making, accountability. Excellent. Creating great leader. Excellent, sir. Very good. Great. I'm honored. Let me review the definition I generally suggest, and that is it's a little bit longer. Not, I mean, though one or two words are also there which are highlighted in red. The primary object of leadership is to guide and inspire you. Some of you mentioned that, and inspire a group towards a common goal. A common goal has to be there, motivating the team to work collaboratively and effectively. This involves providing direction, vision, and support to achieve the desired outcome. So, what is the paradigm? Paradigm means the way of thinking is a leader has to be dedicated towards the job or the result or the vision, and it has to be with the devotion. Like, I mean, we pray God that that time our sentiments are very of pious nature. That way only you lead the teams, and a growth mindset, a mindset which only talks about growth and growth and growth. The principles of leadership are: together everyone achieves more, which is team working. People make the difference. This is a beautiful principle. People only make the difference. Third one is individual contributions are acknowledged but are subjugate to the team contribution. Individuals make the teams, of course, but when we are in an organization, what really matters to us is because team, should be proud of their actions. Team should be proud of the entire team, including their contribution. And the success factors are leaders continue self growth and learning. If the leader stops learning, then they can't teach the teams also. Creating and communicating shared vision, team performance review meetings, well defined roles and goals, conflict resolution on an ongoing basis. These are the success factors for any leader. And what is the structure? Leadership is consisting of three parameters: the leader himself or herself, its team, the people, and the situation. Leader deals with these things. Leader has to deal with himself. You see, the best you can only lead people if you manage yourself first. That's a slogan also which I use. If you don't know how to manage yourself, you can't lead anybody. Okay. Then the people part. And of course, anywhere you are dealing with situation. And how do you manage those situations? How do you make the best possible decisions? Everything, every trigger that you get is a situation, and it has to be handled with a beautiful way, and that is the leadership way. I couldn't come across a better definition of leadership than this one. This is interesting. True leadership, like true filter coffee. How many of you like coffee? Please raise your hands. Wow, good. I thought I was the only one. Quite a few of you love coffee. So I think you will also admire this definition of coffee. True leadership. True leadership, like to filter coffee, is not instant. It is crafted with depth, with devotion, and with love. How do you like this? Please write it in the chat box. How do you like this definition? Good, excellent, not good, whatever is your comment. Please write it in the chat box. Yeah, Raja Raman likes it. Thank you, Rajaji. Great, Dhiran. Thank you, Dhiran sir. Excellent, Nand Kishore sir. All right. Now, my definition of leadership is like this. I use the word acronym. I use the leader as acronym and develop this. L stands for leveraging. Leaders have resources at their command. And those are the 5 M's: men, money, machine, material, methods. And leveraging of them, permutation and combination of them to produce the maximum result is what is leveraging. Leaders' first and primary job is that. How do you get them? How do you maximize the potentials or the hidden qualities of people who are with you? That is leveraging. Effectiveness and efficiency. This is the combination of the compass and the clock. I think you must have heard many times before. Effectiveness is doing right things. Efficiency is doing things right. And then A stands for accepting, adjusting, and appreciating. Accepting the SWOT of the people, your own SWOT as a leader, and also the SWOT of other people. And adjustment is that A is yourself, B is other people, C is the outcome that you produce. Since you cannot change this, B, you cannot change. Other people's behavior, you cannot change. Not much. So if you want to change, if you want to create a better output, then the only thing which is left to you is to change yourself. Changing yourself will change the behavior of other people also, and also the outcome that comes as an interaction of the individual. This I've already mentioned. Appreciate yourself first. दूसरों की जय से पहले अपनी जय कहें, वो वाला है हिसाब से. You have to, learn to appreciate yourself. You are good as you are. You can always improve. Learn to appreciate the people around you, and also learn to appreciate whatever you are today is the mercy of the God. Let us acknowledge and appreciate His grace also. Decide. And decision making is 3 parameters: analysis, what happened, where happened, how it happened, and you use generally fishbone diagrams and Ishikawa diagrams. And then the creativity, how many alternatives you can find out, and the judgment is what is the best alternative available under the circumstances, given the parameters which are at my command, given the resources which are available to me, what is the best decision I can make. Because you can only make decision according to your current availability of resources. If you were to think that unless I have 10 more people or 20 new machines, I cannot do this or do that, then it is not a good decision you are making. So it has to be, judgment has to be based on the current available resources. Empower. E stands for empower. Empowerment starts with delegating first. If you don't delegate, delegate means vesting of decision-making authority to the team members. It is passing on your decision-making authority. If you are still holding on to the decision-making authority, the delegation it is not is complete. And then you have to trust, like you trust yourself, trust the other person also to whom you are delegated. And tolerate once in a while if they make a mistake. I mean, you have to be careful that they don't make costly mistakes, but you have to tolerate minor mistakes here and there. We learn by making mistakes. I am one person who encourage people to make mistakes. I mean, that way I can take pride in the fact that I say, unless you make a mistake, you won't grow. Don't repeat the mistake. That is the caution I give. Just don't repeat the mistake. Because if you repeat the mistake, then you are not going to be of much value to anybody. Then relate, relate internally. That is, the internal relationship should be strong as well as external, which is with the governments and other organizations, other associations, and all that. Now, the ship part, I would like you to use the window again, chat window, and see what is the ship part of the relationship, leadership part. In the leadership, we write the word leadership. I've explained what is leader. What is the ship part here? Can you please use the chat window? I'm waiting for your responses, ladies and gentlemen. Ship to destination. Wow, take the whole team together and win together. Wonderful. Mayur sir. Direction, career. Under all circumstances, remain calm and steady. Follow the right direction. Thank you, Dhiran. Giving direction. All right. The ship part, that's my definition. You may agree, you may not agree, but that's okay. Whatever you have said is also making sense, lot of sense. But ship part is the communication. See, leader has to transport. It is a transporting mechanism, process. Transport his vision, their ideas, their solution to the issues, problems. They have to pass on to the teams. And the medium they use is called communication. That is why a ship like, I mean, we use the ship for transporting goods from here to there or even transporting people from here to there. And that is why the ship part is the communication in the leadership process because leader has to transport their ideas to them. So this much about the leadership part. Now I go to the paradigm part. What is paradigm? Paradigm is a process whereby you start looking at the picture from a different angle. For example, this one. Write down in the chat box. What do you see here? What do you see in the picture? Just use the chat window. Two faces, mirror faces. Okay, two faces. Ah, Mandlekar sir is also seeing the flask, the vase, trophy. Okay, winner cup. Wonderful. So this picture has both. Now, this is a good way to understand that we can look at the same thing from different angles. And whatever we see will determine how we are going to act beyond that. If I see a vase here, what is my thinking next? I will be thinking of the flowers first. I will be thinking of, you know, can I use it as a process of storing water for myself because my flask has broken. Can I use it for the time being? I will be start getting ideas about this. Then if I see two faces, my that is the paradigm I have. I'm seeing two faces. Then I'm thinking, what must have they been talking? What is in their background? What who is saying to what? I will be those kind of things will be happening in my mind. So the way we look at the word is the way then we are going to take it forward, our ideas and our suggestions. Okay, this is a suggestion on the paradigms. If you think you are going in circle, just shift your perspective. The same thing becomes shift spiral then. That is what paradigms is. So brings me back to the same thing where I started. You remember, if you start thinking differently, you will start feeling differently, you will start acting differently, and different results will be. That is what the purpose of the understanding paradigms is. Analyze your thought process in any given situation, and you will start finding better alternative suggestions. Once again, like you to use the chat window, please, and write down, what do you see in this picture? There is a caption there underneath and says, what does read? It read, but it is the child is saying, but it's easier to find toys when they are spread out all over the floor. Now here is, now I like to have your impression. What is the purpose of this showing this picture to you? Please write down the chat window. Different perception, very good. Umesh saying two different people, two different thoughts. Expression. Great. See, situation is the same, right? Situation is that on the floor, toys are all scattered. The mother is looking at from the discipline point of view and say, your toys should be in the basket. Your toys should be where they belong to. Where, in our, what we say, in ISO, we say things at the right place. Yeah, all the tools should be at the right place. But then, that is the child looking at the toy say, for me, it is easier to find a particular toy when it is spread over like this. And a worker can also take the same perspective as, and when the tools are all over, I can find it easier. But our perspective is that you put it at the proper places, your hand even in the darkness can go into that. So these are different situations, looked at it differently by different people. And as a leader, you have to understand which perspective this person is coming from, how we can align ourselves to that thought process and find a solution which is workable from their standpoint. Okay, in this particular situation, a leader like you will say, okay, son, very good. This is all right. Now I will create a place for all these toys differ separately on the wall. We will have hooks, and on those hooks, you can spread all your toys, or you can hang those toys and you can find them easily. Because the child has given the perspective that they want everything to be visible in front of them. So, what I'm trying to suggest to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that as a leader, you have to understand what the situation is. Secondly, what paradigm of the person who's explaining the situation to you is, and how do you see it differently, and what suggestions come to your mind to resolve the issue. Because this is sometimes leads to conflicts. These kind of the situation lead to complexities or conflicts, and a leader has to find a solution. Mother teaching child. No, very good. I am moving on to the paradigms part. See, uh, Marshall Goldsmith, I think his name is very familiar in the leadership and management areas, with his famous book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. Okay. Many leaders feel that since they have reached up to the level of the director or CEO or a group head, now and he or she has come up to that standard because of certain qualification or the certain behavior pattern or something, and that same behavior pattern or same qualification and experience will take them forward. We say, well, you have to think again because you have come up to here, but to go beyond, you need very different tools and techniques. And Marshall has identified 15 global competencies. They are not only relevant to Indian scenario, but they are relevant all over the globe. See, I think you are all familiar with the slogan which says, think globally, act locally. So we have to start thinking globally, and there are these 15 competencies have been identified into 5 broad areas. First one is communication, which is integrity, constructive dialogue, and vision. Second one is engaging people, which is developing people, building partnership, and sharing leadership. Third one is boundaryless inclusion, which is empowering people. Empowering, oh, give me a minute. Empowering people, thinking globally, and appreciating diversity. Diversity and inclusion are in subject these days. Assuring success also has 3 competencies, which is developing technology savvy, ensuring customer satisfaction, and maintaining a competitive advantage. And the fifth one is the continuous change, achieving personal mastery in whatever we do, anticipating opportunity, leading change. These are the 15 global competencies divided into 5 broad heads: communication, engaging people, boundaryless inclusion, assuring success, and continuous change. So the purpose of showing you this is that, these we have tools with which we can identify any leader where they are in relation to this competency and what is the gaps and how to fill those gaps. Those assessments are done, and those I will be able to explain because I think, as Santosh sir will explain it to you, this will we will be uh, doing a workshop in June sometime where all these will be explained to you, and also we will ensure that the participants have done their assessment so that they know exactly where they are in relation to these competencies. These competencies, there's another way to look at these is they are also divided into 3 areas of strategic, which is long term, the personal, which is leaders own competency, and the team competency. These 15s have been reshaped into this manner order. Thinking globally, developing technology savvy, ensuring customer satisfaction, and anticipating, and these are all strategic thinking. And on the personal side of the leader, developing integrity, ensuring constructive dialogue, appreciating diversity, these are under the personal leadership growth. And the team, creating a shared vision, developing people, building partnership, all this is under the team development part. So this is another way to look at the 15 competencies. The 3 great qualities. And once again, I'll ask you to let me explain these first. Then I'll ask you to uh, be honest and write down if you are, courageous enough to write what exactly is your position. Which of these 1 or 2 you are good at, and which 1 or 2 you are not good at right now. Okay, courage, humility, and discipline. Courage means ability and uh, authenticity to come forward of what is to be done or not to be done, or what is to be said or not to be said. That is courage. But do it with conviction, Do it with humility, do it with humbleness, and do it with nicety. And the discipline part is something which is uncompromised. That whatever action plan you draw on daily basis, whatever you have thought about the doing on a day-to-day basis, are you doing it on a regular basis or not doing it? So what is your position? Can you please go to the chat window once again and write down, say which one you have the best. Let's you have the best. Let's start with this out of these. Which is your best out of these three? Humility, okay. Courage, very good. Humility, humility is good. Discipline is good. Courage, very good. Need to improve on courage. Well, SK sir, there will be an opportunity if you care to join the workshop. We will do the proper analysis of your personality by determining where you are in the radar as far in relation to the feedback you get from your colleagues also and your stakeholders. And then we will determine how. Sometimes we think we are not disciplined, but other people feel they are disciplined. So there can be always be a gap. We will determine all that. What is daring to set boundaries? This is courage. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves. This is my limit. I mean, some of you have done that before that, and I must salute all of you who have been courageous enough to come to the chat window and write down what you are good at and what you are really looking forward, even when we risk disappointing others. So when we are courageous, sometimes people don't like us and we are disappointing them because they expected something different from us and we were not producing that. Well, these two are, although they sound as paradoxes are two opposite sides. Like I mean, courage on one side and humility on another side. They look as if they are opposing is if I'm courageous, how can I be humble? Well, as a leader, you have to be good in both. And we have another measurement which we call leadership paradoxes, which is introduced or which where I have been credited by Harrison Interactives, Harritam Assessments. And there, we measure the leadership paradoxes. And they have identified 12 leadership paradoxes: collaborative accountability, vigilant resilience, opportunity management, focus innovation, respectful candor, insightful curiosity, instinctive logic, sustained result, equity mindset, adaptive. All these, there are 12 of them, and there are two traits which have to be matched if you want to really become a great leader. Each paradox has two traits and they have to be equally balanced. If there is an imbalance, then you have to work on the imbalance part, and that's where we can come handy to you as trainers, as also a consultant and a coach. I can be helpful there. And one of the great asset any leader must develop is have growth mindset. There are two mindset which people, I think you must have heard this before, many other floors also. That is fixed mindset. Fixed mindset people have a tendency to say, I already know, I have all this qualification, I have this experience, I have led teams already, I know what leadership is, I know what growth is. What can you do? I'm okay as I am. And that's the fixed mindset. If you are not ready to, you are locked your mind, you locked your brain. And learning, as I am very fond of saying, learning never stops for any age. age is not a bar on learning. So people who say, I'm this much old now and I think I need not learn anymore, they have a fixed mindset, growth mindset. Well, there are always opportunities. There are always skills to learn. I mean, I feel in today's context, I feel that I need to learn AI, that is artificial intelligence, because that's the future. If I don't learn, I will be left behind. Youngsters are going to take over because it's not that AI is a competitor to me as a trainer or as a coach. AI is a helpful tool I must be developing. Friends, I remember let me tell you a story. When I was transferred, was working with Kodak. I was transferred from Delhi to Bombay to head the HR function, to start actually the HR function. Okay. And to my luck, at that time only, Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister, and he was, very proudly he announced that India must computerize. It is what a new word for India at that time, buzzword, because before that we were only used to mainframe computers and all. People were not very much used to the desktops, and the laptops were hardly seen and hardly visible. Okay, at that time he announced India must computerize. Guess what happened? The unions were very strong, and we also had a union, and half of my time was going and explaining to our workmen, please, this is not a competitor. You, no, 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 you are going to take away our jobs. You are going to, ask us to go home because computers are going to do everything. And so, I mean, it was hard time for me to convince those people that, computer is going to be beneficial to you, to help you to do your job more efficiently and effectively. But it took great time and effort on our part. I had a lot of tears in my eyes when I was explaining to them, because simple message was not going across to the people. Because when they have a fixed mindset, it is very difficult to enter. Now, same thing is happening, which I keep hearing from most of the leaders about the AI part. I think, friends, we need to open our minds and say, I need to learn, I need to practice, I need to take advantage. It is a tool with me, it is not my competitor. Once I have the mindset like that, I will be able to learn it quickly and faster. So the leader must have a growth mindset to be an effective leader. And leader has to deal with teams. I mean, I don't think I'm going to bother you with this, because a leader who doesn't have a team. Anyway, let me check with you, use the chat and say, how many people do you have in a team? How many teams you have, and how many people, maximum number of people you have in your team? Can you please come to the chat and write down the number? 40 plus. Wow, Nand Kishorji, you are a great hero, sir. 450 in 8 teams. Okay, that I can understand. Nand Kishore Sahab, how many teams you have? 40 people may be there, but teams, how many teams you have? Umesh is 50. 3 direct teams. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because your team is those team leaders. That becomes your teams. And that's what you are, because indirectly you will be reaching to 400, 500, 6,000 people or 80 people. But directly we have team as SP. Okay. Maximum 6 members. Okay, so very good. Thank you, sir. What these are the dysfunctions. I will quickly go through this because I think my eye is also on the watch. There are 5 dysfunctions of any team. As starting from the bottom, absence of trust. People don't trust each other. They are not willing to open. They are not willing to confess their weaknesses. They are, they will always come out with that they are right and they are wrong. Others are wrong. Edward de Bono says, the killer of creativity is to keep on proving yourself right. I repeat, That is Edward Duverno, the master of creativity. The killer of creativity is to always prove ourselves right, because then you don't learn. That is the absence of trust, fear of conflict. No, no, I shouldn't be saying this, because then, the other person will mind it, and he will not, then, there will be debate, and I don't want to get into the conflict situation. Lack of commitment, because people don't commit. And if they don't commit, they don't have to work. They say, I didn't agree to this, I didn't agree to this. So that also leads to the dysfunction of the team. Yes, Pavan Verma, I agree with you. You see, now there is another way to look at it. Pavanji has raised a very important point. He's written in the chat window. So you don't necessarily need a team to lead. Say, for example, Tulsidas and Einstein were great leaders who have transformed our worlds. They didn't have a team. Very good, sir. Thank you very much. Pavan sir, I'd like to point out to you once again, not that I'm defending myself, you are right, absolutely. These are the people who were leading themselves. They were the people who knew how to manage themselves. They were the people who had those three qualities. What is that? Courage, humility, and discipline. Whether you look at Einstein or whether you look at Tulsidas ji, the two great names you have mentioned, you will see that they had these three qualities. And whom were they leading? They were leading themselves. And to them, they were their own teams. Well point. Excellent, sir. Thank you very much for raising this issue. You have made everybody knowledgeable. Thank you, sir. Okay. So the third one is lack of commitment. People really make decision and they don't buy into this. Everybody, thinks of, giving vague answers with the result that no commitment takes place. And that leads to the avoidance of accountability. Since I am not making a commitment, I am not accountable also. And that leads to the inattention to results. So the ultimate aim of producing result is not achieved by team. That's what dysfunction starts. It starts with what? It starts with the absence of trust, leading to avoiding conflict, which is the result of not making commitments, and the avoidance of accountability, and leading to half-hearted or no results in the teams. Communication is the key, and leaders must keep on communicating always, and that is the ship part of the leadership. Some do's and don'ts. Uh, some of the slides will be shared. This slide will be shared with you, of course, since I'm showing it. Work conversation, do's and don'ts. You can go through this. Active listening is part one. Giving feedback is another one. Meeting participation. Uh, Difficult conversation, how do you take those are the ones which a leader must do. Leaders must do difficult things, otherwise they are not leaders. We have defined KPIs very differently, and that is just, I'll pause here and give you time to read these are our KPIs for dealing with the teams and dealing with people. Keep people involved, keep people inspired, keep people informed, keep people interested. If you follow this, the teams are in your domains. You are a great leader. And to do all that, to achieve stupendous result, we also have another tool. The participants of the workshop will go through that assessment also, which is the motivators. We have identified 23 motivators divided into 5 parts, which is achievers, which has 5 motivations, and the builders. These are the personality traits: the achievers, the builders, the caregivers, the reward driven, and the thinkers. And each one have 5 or 6 or 2 or 3 motivators. And all these 23 are important. and we have to identify what is the job role, what is the result the leader is expected to produce, what competencies are required to be achieved to are necessary for them to achieve those results, and what are the motivators which are supporting those competencies. So that is how the whole thing will be integrated. And the leader motivates, but unless the teams or the individual get inspired, they don't really achieve. They don't really participate. Motivation comes from outside. A leader can motivate, but inspiration comes from rise from within. Inspiration has to come from those feelings. Motivation is provoking those thoughts. If I can use simultaneously this model where I started the journey, the leader will provoke the thoughts, and the feelings will be coming into the minds or the bosoms of the people who are listening to the leader and getting motivated, because unless they get inspired, nothing will be achieved. By merely motivation, people don't work. People work when they are inspired, when they feel from inside. And that's long lasting. And this focuses on possibilities, it focuses on solutions and not on this. So then the second part of this is the development part. I will very briefly say that development is process of improvement. On the progress part, betterment of the human life. And the paradigm here is the stationary water also starts stinking. So whatever is cool right now will not be cool tomorrow. Whatever is stagnant today will not be really working in future tomorrow. So let us detest this word that anybody or anything which is stagnant, we start liking it. Development means growth must take place. Here's a quote from Osho, which he said, the being must grow. The being means the whole being, which is consisting of the three parameters of human personality. I'll explain that. Not knowledge, not accumulation, not information, but being. The whole of the human persona should increase. This is my favorite triangle, which I call personality triangle. And you see now, if you see the inside part, the three dimensions of human personalities are knowledge, skills, and attitudes. We are all combination of that. Whatever, whosoever we are combination of these. We are amalgamation of these. Some knowledge, some skills, and some attitude. That's what has made us. Now, the development part is not growing only in the knowledge side. You can increase knowledge. Uncle Google is there. You can learn any skills, but then if you don't change your behaviors or attitudes correspondingly, your geometrically speaking, your triangle will not be complete. Okay, so the growth part is the development part is that growing in all directions. That's what Osho says, the being part. The whole persona has to go up, the whole personality, the whole characteristics of the entire human being. That personality of the person or your team member should grow, and also you should grow. So the growth will be team's effectiveness, reviews must take place, and team leadership growth. Uh, Everybody in the team should feel like a leader, and the team business case, uh, we will be developing that during the workshop, and then we'll work with that. Okay. This is Marshall's favorite model that, we cannot grow unless we get rid of these 20 bad habits. We cannot grow. And he has explained those very well. Uh, I mean, today, lack of time, I won't be able to elaborate on all these. But since I think you'll be getting the slide, you can go through it and always ask questions. But I have a video from Marshall, which is on the subject of winning too much. This is one, winning too much is also a habit which is ineffective, which is comes in the way for leaders' own growth and also growth of the people around him. So what is that meaning of that? Let us understand first.
I was interviewed in the Harvard Business Review and asked a question. What is the number one problem of all the successful people you have worked with over the years? What is their number one problem? My answer, winning too much. What does this mean? If it is important, we want to win. Meaningful, we want to win. Critical, we want to win. Trivial, we want to win. Not worth it, we want to win anyway. Winners love winning. It is incredibly difficult for smart, successful people not to constantly grow through life winning. I'm going to give you a case study of winning too much that almost all of my successful clients fail. I'm going to make a prediction. My prediction is you too will fail this case study. And when I say fail, you will fail yourself. Here is the case study. You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your husband, wife, friend wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument.
Hold on. I read a comment that no voice is coming. Is it everybody? Can you hear?
I think I was able to clearly hear.
It's quite audible. There's no
Quite
Yeah,
audible?
yeah,
It's audible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So please
There are a couple
continue,
of,
sir.
please, those of you who can't hear, please adjust your voice system. Yeah. Yes, most of the people are hearing. So I'll continue.
You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful
Just
and
a
the
minute.
service.
I'll start from that
Your
case.
friend wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument.
Sorry.
And when I say fail, you will fail yourself. Here is the case study. You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your husband, wife, friend wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument. You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful and the service is terrible. Option A, critique the food. Point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided had only you listened to me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice evening. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all my clients, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. Now, as bad as that example is, I'm going to give you another one that's even worse. And again, half the listeners have done this. You have a hard day at work, a hard day. You go home. Your husband, wife, friend, or partner is there, and the other person says, I had such a hard day today. I had such a tough day. And we reply, you had a hard day. You had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had to put up with today? Do you think you had a hard day? We are so competitive, we have to prove we are more miserable than the people we live with. I gave this example to my class at the Dartmouth Tuck School. A young man in the back raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me and said, honey, you just think you've had a hard day. It's not over. Think back to the last time you had a need to win and prove you were right on some reasonably meaningless topic. Is it worth it?
So friend, can you write in the chat window, what is your take on this video? What is your learning? Just one or two words. Very insightful. Okay, be positive, think positive. Empathy is essential. Yeah. Positive thoughts. Learn with failure, never repeat mistake. Very good, sir. Thank you very much. And, we want most of the parents, and I think I may have also made a mistake during my young days. We expect our children to, win always, whether it is sports, whether it is studies, and with the result, we don't let them, there is enjoyment in the failure also. Enjoyment in the sense you do learn something and you say, okay, I learned something, I will not make that mistake again. Once again, talking about myself, once, in my 11th standard exam, in the algebra paper, I scored 73 marks out of 75. And I went to my teacher and said, "Sir, I don't understand. You have not put any cross mark or red mark anywhere. And how did I lose these 2 marks? You know, I mean, first of all, he was humorous and he said, Gopal, I have never got 100 by 100 when I was young like you. So how can I give you 100 by 100? Anyway, that was joke. Then he said, here is then he pointed out, he said, here is a requirement of a comma and you are not put that. And since that comma is missing, I deducted the 2 marks. That's how you learn. I mean, I learned that, okay, I made a mistake, I learned, and I won't make that mistake again. So we have to learn as leaders to tell our team members it's okay to fail sometimes as long as you are learning. If you are not learning and then still failing again and again, then there's something wrong with either your education or my training or my coaching. But if we are, you are making a mistake and you are learning, I am okay with that. That's okay. That's so we can avoid this. So friends like this, I mean, as I said during the workshop, we will be able to pass, we will be able to go through all these 20 habits. But today, because of time paucity, I will not be able to come do this. And I just showed you a sample of this, what you all can look forward to. All right, here is the concluding part of my the program. After that, I'll hand over to Santosh sir. I am looking forward to throwing a challenge at you for 1 year, and that is the roadmap. The roadmap is that during the workshop, we will be working with the vision. You will create a vision, which means you will be determining your 10-year goal for on the smart and dumb. You know smart. What is dumb? Anybody? It may be a new term for you. What is dumb? Dumb is a visionary part of that goal. I mean, it is not dumb actually. It is anti-dumb. It is developmental. It is uplifting. It is methodology driven and behavior driven. I'll write down in the chat window so that you can make a note of that. What is dumb? Developmental, uplifting, method driven, behavior driven. We need to take it to all these 4 accounts also, because smart doesn't take care of that. So we thought about the dumb part, because nobody talks, because that's muted. So because it is muted, we have to highlight it when we determine this 10-year goal. So we'll work with that 10 years. That's the starting point. That will be our vision, strategic. And then we'll set a goal, which will be operational part, which is doable or achievable in 1 year time. And then we will also be, before the workshop, we will be doing these 3 assessments for you. One is the motivational part, which is Find Mojo. And also your current global competencies, those 15 competencies you remember I mentioned, and your current leadership paradoxes, the 12 paradoxes that we talked about. Okay. So based on these assessments and the goal that you have to achieve, we will draw up an action plan, which is the answering of the 5 W's. That is why, what, when, where, and who. And that's the action plan. And then we will be actioning your plan. We'll suggest to you how you do now. Go ahead and action your plan based on your 5 M's. That is the man, money, machine, material, method, how you leverage by budgeting them and also allocating them. And then we will also draw up a methodology whereby we review those plans on weekly basis and not on monthly or yearly basis, and revise action plan. And as for the PDSC cycle, we will go back. After this, we go back to the reviewing the plan again and again and again. And it goes for 52 weeks. And that's my 1 year challenge to you. And those 3 reports I talked to you, Marshall's competency, that 15 competencies, I mean, it comes in as a 70-page report. And this is the radar of how all the competencies and where you are in relation to, you are measured yourself, that is the green dots, and also all other raters which you have identified. And what are your scores in relation to the 15 competencies? It shows in the radar form. And those paradoxes come to you also in a 40 odd pages report. And that paradoxes are given to you in this colorful format. This is where you are, the spot that you see. This is where the person is whose report I'm showing in relation to these paradoxes. So you will find out your own. And in the Mojo part, you will also get a report on these 5 main categories, and which one of these you really need to work better and work more on this. And so that will be the 1 year challenge to you. So friends, before I close, let me show you one more video from Marshall, which is short one again, where he talks about what is the future of leadership. And I think after that, I will close this webinar and request Santosh ji to take over, please. Let me show this video.
In the future, leaders are going to have to think globally. Number 2 is cross-cultural diversity. The whole concept of diversity is typically thought about within the context of a country or gender diversity. The third factor is going to be technological savvy. In the future, leaders don't have to be a brilliant technologist, yet they do have to understand how technology is going to impact themselves and their part of the business and their competition. And then finally, the leader is going to be much more of a facilitator than a director. So looking at the concept of purpose, people here in India work a lot, very, very hard workers. Very important to take responsibility to look at your life and say, how can I live a life with purpose? 2 ways. One, really looking at what you're doing and say, is this type of work providing meaning to me? If the answer is no, as painful as it may be, find something else to do. Number 2, really focus on while you're there, how can I do my best to create happiness and meaning? You put in the hours anyway. While I'm there, am I doing my best to create happiness? Am I doing my best to create meaning? And we're in India. There's a little thing called the Gita. If you look at the Gita, to me, it's a great example of the answer to this question. Here's a person who's put in a terrible position. Option A is bad. Option B is bad. He's complaining, sad. What's he told? Do your best. Life is what it is. You can't change what you can't change. You've been dealt a hand of cards in life. All you can do is play the hand the best you can. 3 key factors are most important. Courage. Do they have the courage to look in the mirror? If they don't have the courage to look in the mirror, it's not going to work. Two, humility. You see, I've learned something. I cannot help anyone improve who is already perfect. If they're already perfect, they don't need me. Well, you got to have a little humility to admit you can improve. And then number 3, you have to have the discipline to do the hard work required to get better. Courage, humility, discipline. Lesson number 1, our mission in life is to make a positive difference, not to prove we're smart and not to prove we're right. Number 2, every decision in the world is made by the person who has the power to make the decision. Make peace with that. You sell what you can sell. You change what you can change. And if you can't sell it, you can't change it, you let it go.
Please write it in the chat. How was it for you? Thank you, Vikas. Thank you, Chandrasekhar. You guys have made my day. Thank you very much for being with me. Very meaningful and learning. Shashank, thank you. SK, thank you. Umesh, thank you very much for joining. Jawaharlal Learning, thank you, sir. Energetic, thank you, sir. Excellent, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, thanks for the great feedback. I really appreciate. I really enjoyed doing this short webinar, but I'm looking forward, as I said again and again, I'm looking forward to the workshop where I think we will be face to face, with each other for 2 days minimum, and that too in very good, comfortable environment of a five-star hotel, about which I think Santoshi will be talking to you. So if you have a quick question which I can answer in 2-3 minutes, please you can ask. You can come out of mute and maybe speak it out, please.
Yeah.
You answer?
Okay, let me start, sir,
Yes,
so
sir.
that people follow.
I'm
Yeah, with this workshop, definitely all of us, benefited a lot. And one of the thing which we have been hearing, that leaders are born and leaders are not made. Probably, this today's webinar has opened a thought that leaders are also made. If you listen, you have that attitude, to learn and listen and then deliver. So I request participants to, raise few questions. We will be able to take a few questions.
I have no question, but while listening to Gopalji, I have scribbled a few lines for a leader, and that is in Hindi. शब्दों का महत्व इंसानों की बोली और उनकी भाषा से पता चलता है। तो मैंने लिखा कि किसी की मदद कीजिए फायदे के बगैर, किसी से मिलिए जुलिए मतलब के बगैर, जिंदगी जीना सीखिए दिखाने के बगैर, क्योंकि अंधेरा वहां नहीं होता जहां तन गरीब है, अंधेरा वहां होता है जहां मन गरीब है।
Very nice, sir.
So a leader is one who mixes with the people, teaches what he has experienced, and he is not poor by body, right? He should be rich by thoughts.
Very right. Very right, sir.
I was just writing down when Gopalji was speaking.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I had a question. My
sir.
name is Chandrasekhar here.
Yes, sir.
I'm a consultant for an AI company in Chennai. The
Sir.
struggle which I face as a problem is the concepts are good, but when it comes to flawless implementation on the ground, there is the struggle which is not easily answerable, because the audience also knows what needs to be done, but how to make it gel, and that's a challenge I'm going through in the last 3 years since they've got their ISO done. It's all a question of follow-up rather than a self-made, seamless process.
Very nice, sir. Can I respond to this, sir?
Sir, looking forward to your point. Looking
Now,
forward to your thoughts.
I mean, coming from the coaching background, we generally don't answer questions. We only give you a thought process to consider. So my suggestion would be, Chandrasekhar sir, out of these three, courage, humility, discipline, which one you think is coming in the way? Where do they need to learn more?
More on the discipline part, because in the startup environment, every day morning they are seeing the changing their priorities.
Absolutely.
So I am finding discipline means is a challenge. It's a
Yes.
known challenge, but
Sir, my you know I consulted with a couple of companies on this very issue, and I can pass on the same logic and suggestion to you if you like to really see that if it works for you. I mean, every situation is different, every company is different, but in most of the companies I suggested it worked, and I call it 5 minutes meetings in the morning at the time when people have to start their work, say 9:30 or 10 o'clock, whatever is the starting point. At that time, they assemble in a hall, no seating, maybe a simple cup of tea or coffee or whatever, and a standing meeting, 5 minutes. The leader interacts with each one of them, just ask a very simple question, and that is, how was your day yesterday? What are you going to do today? That's all. And depending on the response, then, whatever suggestion you are required to give, you give. And most of the time, we are working with virtual teams also. So whether it is physical, if it is physical, then, it makes a better impact on the people. Then you can physically touch and feel, and किसी के कंधे पे कहाँ हाथ रखा, किसी को, embrace किया and all that, it works better.
yes.
But even if it is virtual, then I think you can assemble them at that point in time. Only condition I lay to leaders is you be before time and not after time. I am a great one for that, and I think I mean in that way I not necessarily that any. I mean he is my role model for time is discipline, and that is Amitabh Bachchan. And both of us, we practice the same thing. That is, if I give time to somebody, I'm there 5 minutes early and not 5 minutes late. And I think I suggest to all leaders that, when you are calling that meeting, you be there. It's not that you are walking in after everybody else. Then you have not really shown what discipline actually means. So, sir, I mean, it's worth trying if you like to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Any other questions?
Can all of you put your videos on, please, so that I can see with whom were I talking all this while? Like to see your faces. Very good, sir.
And those who want to ask questions, please unmute
You
and
can
ask your question.
raise the hand and ask the question. Come on, be courageous. Put your videos on, friends. It requires courage to show your face. Yes. Rajaram Khose, sir. Pavan, Dhiran, you are the great participants. Dhiran Shah. Looking nicer. Rajaram.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Let me not insist if you are not happy with showing your face. That's okay. But, if you have any question, that's what I'm waiting for. Otherwise, Santosh ji has some agenda also to share with you.
Okay, so we will move to the last point of the webinar that Gopal ji has already talked about, and that is we are going to have a workshop, 2-day workshop detailing out more on this subject. I'm sure you're able to see on the screen this slide. The announcement is a 2-day workshop on paradigms, paradoxes, and practices for leadership growth. Dates we have finalized at June 27, 28, 2025. The venue will be Hotel Orchid, Vileparle East, and the workshop fees are shown here, 9,900 for a 2-day workshop in Hotel Orchid. With this, we have the announcement that early bird advantage for registrations by 24th May. There is a flat discount of 1,000 rupees, 8,999. There's a member discount on top of all this, that is 10%. All the NCQ members entitled to get a member discount of 10%. And today's attendees, we have marked the attendance, an additional discount over and above is 5%. So this is what, the announcement I wanted to make. We will be sending out a detailed workshop brochure to all the participants and registration link for registering for the workshop. So I request everyone to take advantage of this and register. I have not mentioned, but we will be able to accommodate maximum 20 participants. So that is the upper limit for the workshop to be effective. Not more than 20 participants will be taken in the workshop. So please register at the earliest. And I thank everyone for joining for the webinar today. And I could see that, all the participants, more or less, they were there throughout. And credit goes to Gopalji for keeping the audience engaged, keeping the workshop very, very interesting. And everyone was attentive. I could see, unlike many other workshops where we see participants, leave the workshop or no interactions. So I thank Gopalji for conducting an excellent webinar, and I look forward to a successful 2-day workshop in the month of June. And everyone is going to be benefited. We have seen in the webinar, it's not you are not going to listen, you are going to participate, you are going to get self-assessment, you are going to get a 1-year challenge, and that is what will be beneficial to all of you. So I look forward to all of you joining for the workshop. Of course, the seats are only 20, but if required, we will repeat the workshop. Thank you very much for joining the workshop. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
God bless you. Take good care of yourself and your families.